just love her. And welcome to my channel, Flourish, Faith, and Fiber, and this is Flourish Creatively podcast number 40. And my voice is not quite there yet. It is still, I'm still a little hoarse, but we'll hopefully keep improving and we'll maybe make this video a little bit shorter than it normally is. So thank you very much for clicking on this video. I really appreciate you all coming by and watching my video. I appreciate all the thumbs up, the subscribes, greatly appreciated. And most of all, I love getting comments and being able to connect with you and learn a little bit about you all. So thank you so very much. The ways that you can connect with me are all listed in the description box below. There is a link as well to my new business, which is a crochet tech editing business. And I have a Facebook business page connected with it that you can check out, Flourish Tech Editing, there on Facebook. Like my page. It will help get it out there more to people that are crochet designers that may be interested in hiring a tech editor like me. And I do have a reel up on Instagram, and would really appreciate it if you know crochet designers that you could share my information with them. And they can go to my website. I have a web page with a form to fill out to get in touch with me. All that to say, it's all listed, as well as any patterns or anyone that I mention will always all be in the description box below. So let's get started. Normally, I start out with finished objects, but I'm just going to talk about all the crochet-alongs that I have been involved in. Some are finished objects and some are continuing crochet-alongs that I'm just not quite through with, or that they are just not quite over. The first crochet along that I'd like to talk about is the hashtag Crochet Through the Decades 2024. It is hosted by Litsa at Coco's Crochet, and August, September, October, November. She's doing 4 decades from the 1950s to the 1980s. And the month of October was the 1970s. And I've had this project finished, but she always puts up a video that has all the projects numbered. You're not supposed to know who did what project because they are voted on. And then every project, or everyone who turns in a project, their name goes in one jar. The winner of the voting for that month, their name goes in another jar, and for prizes. And so she just put up the video for all the projects, and the voting is coming to an end. And so by the time you see this, the voting will be over. So I thought, well, I can go ahead and show you the project that I made. And so for the 1970s, I made a granny square vest. So basically, I crocheted 2 granny squares, one for the front, one for the back. I crocheted them together on the side, and then crocheted straps for the shoulders. And the colors I chose were based on the color palette for the 1970s, which is that avocado green, browns, beiges, a little bit of orange that I did not include in my vest. And I also based my project on fashion accessories that were popular during that decade, and vests were very popular back then in the 1970s. So that is my crochet project for Litsa. We do have 1980s left for the month of November. I haven't started yet. I need to get started. I know what I want to do. I've already bought the yarn, but I just need to get going on that project. So I used Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn. Stripes, and for the white, the colorway was white. I forgot the name of the stripes, but it is in my previous video where I showed what I was planning and a sneak peek, I think, a sneak peek of my project. So yeah, that is my project for that crochet along. All right, so my next crochet along is the hashtag gift of Christmas 2024 crochet along blanket. And this is hosted by Anita Gibney, and she has a YouTube channel called Made by Anita. And Black Sheep Wool is sponsoring the yarn. There were 2 different colorways that you could choose from, traditional and retro. When I went to order the yarn, the traditional was not available. I got the retro colors, which I'm great with. There's pink in it, so I love pink, so I'm okay with that. And really cute design. And I am about now a week and a half behind. I have 1 more week of squares to make, and then it will be putting the blanket all together. And I think, from what I understand, it is you crochet as you go along. It's not sewing the squares together. It's crocheting them together. So we'll see when I get to that week. But let me show you what I've done so far and show you all the squares that have been done for the first 4 weeks. So Granny Square package was the first week. So we just did a simple Granny Square. All the packages have these bows put on them, no matter what kind they were. So Granny Square gifts of different colors and color combinations. The first week I was going great guns and actually got all my ends sewn in for that 1 week. Then I did get a little behind after that. The second week was striped gifts. And we had gifts that went this way, so tall and skinny. And then we had gifts that go this way, sideways, really long and short packages. But they will be crocheted in this way, going up and down like that. And again, you can see all the packages have the same bow put on them. So that was week number 2. Week number 3 was polka dot gifts. And there you go. So bobble stitches or puff stitches were used. And yeah, different colors. Same direction, just a different combination of colors. And you can see by the second, third week, I was not sewing in the ends because I was trying desperately to catch up. But we did make a trip to Texas. My father-in-law did pass away thank you for all of you that were praying and keeping us in your thoughts. And I did not take this big project with me. And so that is how I ended up getting even farther behind and not weaving in, sewing in any ends. Then week 3. This one was striped gifts, striped packages, but the stripe in here was a granny or shell stripe. And we had tiny packages, small things coming and big things come in small packages. Anyway, something like that. And then we also did the taller packages with 2 rows of the shell stripe or granny stripe going through it. So there you go. So that was week number 4 that I just finished up. Week number 5, we get back into crocheting in the round. I will put a picture up here of what that square is going to look like. Just starting out on my first one, and hope to get those done so that by next week I can begin putting all the squares together, have my blanket ready to put out its decoration for December. I usually decorate the day after Thanksgiving, and so look forward to having that out. My idea about not weaving in the ends is that I can still put out the blanket as decoration, and as I'm sitting watching TV, I can just weave in some of the ends as I go, but at least it can be displayed on my couch for Christmas. So anyway, I'm loving it. It is not difficult other than you have to make a whole lot of blocks. I think this week there's like 8 gifts that we will make, and it is 4 different color changes that don't include the bow that goes across the top of it. So it's going to be quite a bit of work and quite a bit more ends that I will have to weave in, but I'm looking forward to getting it done and putting it out on display for Christmas this year. So that is the second crochet-along that I have been working on. And the third crochet-along is the very last installment of #Hooking Up with Books. That has been hosted by Cassandra at Craftably Ever After and Caroline at Caroline for the Love of Crochet. Very last, not for the year, but very last of all. They are moving on to new and bigger and better things. And so this crochet along that they've been doing for the past 2 years is coming to an end. It's been really fun. This last book was Persuasion, and I have read the book. There are 4 movies. One is a BBC miniseries that have been out, and I have read the book and watched all of them. So they did the miniseries by BBC, was put out in 1977. I have all the BBC Jane Austen book miniseries. I had them on DVD. I don't think I brought them because we don't have a DVD player, so I didn't bring them back. But had all her books, so I watched that miniseries. There was a movie from 1995, and by all the Jane Austen enthusiasts, it's considered the most faithful to the book. There was a movie put out in 2007. That happened to be my favorite one. And there's the most recent, which was put out in 2022, starring Dakota Johnson. It's probably the most controversial one. It is more modernized in that they don't use as much of the old English, the way the book, Jane Austen wrote her book, the English that was used back then in the 1800s, is not used in the movie nearly as much as in the other movies. And Dakota Johnson talks to the audience. She will have an aside where she turns and speaks to the camera, to the audience. And so a lot of the really Jane Austen, in what I call enthusiasts, don't really like that as well. But, you know, they're all great versions. They all give you insight into the character of the book. And the character of the book, Anne Elliot, is what I made, or who I made, for my project. And here she is. Isn't she the cutest? I just love her. So this was my first attempt at making a doll. Now, it is, I'll show you her legs and body and try not to be too ugly about it, but her legs, you know, it's one piece. You start at the feet, you do a leg, you do the other leg, you join them, you go up, you continue even joining the head to the body. So very simple doll to make, but it was the first time that I actually made a complete doll with hair. I used 2 patterns from the website Amigurumi Today. One, well, actually both had the same body, but one pattern I used the hair in that pattern, the other I used the dress in that pattern. And so I think she turned out really, really cute. So for the hair, you can tell that she has 2 different colors of hair. And what I used, I had these mini skeins from I Love This Cotton. I have no clue where I got them from. But obviously Hobby Lobby. But I don't know why I ended up with these mini skeins. What I bought to get these mini skeins. But anyway, I had a lighter yellow, a darker yellow. I started out at the top with the darker yellow and realized I am not going to have enough. So I decided to kind of stripe in some lighter yellow, even with her bangs, and then striped back in the darker yellow for her curls, you can see. And then for the curls on top, I striped both the light and the dark yellow in. Because we know with hair, for a lot of people, it's not all one color. And strands have various color, various shades. And so I decided that it would look good. It would be fine. And I could mix the 2 yellows together. So for her, I used some cotton that I got while I was in South Africa. It's L cotton double knit. I use that. This colorway for her body is fudge. And that is because in South Africa, fudge is not chocolate, and it actually is this color. So I thought that was a good color for her skin. I have a set of safety eyes. They're not sized in the container. So once I got rid of all the packaging, then I don't know what size these are specifically. I did embroider some eyelashes, and I blushed her cheeks for the first time. Then for her dress and for her hair tie, I used acrylic yarn. And that's because I figured I make clothing out of acrylic quite often, make wearables. And so again, I had yarn that I brought back from South Africa. This is Pull Skein double knit, and this is just pink. And then this is the colorway white. So I use that for her dress, and it is 100% DK acrylic, DK weight acrylic yarn. And then I had this yarn, and I've seen several different companies with yarn quite similar to this. I had made a hat with it. I forgot where I got it, if it was from the US or South Africa, but it is 100% acrylic except for the little fluffs. They might be polyester, but I had this left over and thought it would be a really nice touch for the tie to her little flower headband. I found a button to put in that I thought was really pretty and shiny like a jewel, because I felt like she was dressed up for one of those mini dances that Jane Austen loves to write about in her books. And then I had, oops, she came undone. Let me button her dress back. There you go. I had two buttons that I had just in my stash that I used to button her dress on. So that is my Anne Elliot. She actually is, or Persuasion is my favorite book. So I guess she is my favorite Jane Austen character. I love her. I feel for her in that she was persuaded not to marry this gentleman because back then your station in life was so important, and she was considered above his station, and but yet she was in love with him, and it actually caused her to go many years without getting married. And then of course they meet again, and you'll have to read the book because it is so good, or watch the movie or movies, all of them. Anyway, it was quite fun. Thank you so much, Cassandra and Caroline, for hosting this great make-along that encouraged reading and encouraged me personally to make amigurumis. There were a couple of projects. I know of one in particular that I made scarves, but for a lot of them, I did make amigurumis, and it also stretched me into making my first people doll amigurumi. And so it was quite fun, and I really appreciate it. I will miss not hooking up with books in the new year, but I really do appreciate you all hosting this make-along. That takes care of all the crochet-alongs that I've been a part of. We're going to move on to, all right, upcoming plans include getting my 1980s project completed by November 30th for the hashtag Crochet Through the Decades 2024 hosted by Litsa. So I've got to get that done. I've got to get it started and get it finished. I still have a sock that I need to finish. I am on the heel flap, so making my way through that sock because I love having a sock or a pair of socks on the go on my needles, and anxious to get this one done so that I can wear them in winter and I can get another pair cast on. In December, I do plan on putting up a video with my thoughts on all the cows that are crochet-a-longs, make-alongs that I have participated in, or at least tried to participate in. But I want to wait till all or most of them are finished, and so that will be coming out in the month of December. I am going to be joining in for the month of December with Battle of the Stitches. That is hosted by Heather at Strings and Threads and Teresa at Critters Crochet. I wanted to get to the crochet part first. Teresa at Critters Crochet. And every month they are working through a book. They do a new stitch pattern, and they invite makers in to create a new design, a new project with that crochet stitch. And so I'm joining in the battle in December. I need to have a good comeback because I did it in August, September, and I came in last place. So I need to make a strong comeback. So hopefully that will happen in the month of December. So be looking out for that. And my next upcoming plans, probably for the new year, don't know that I'll actually get one started in December, but it has to do with an acquisition that I got. And so that's what I'm going to share next, some of my acquisitions. So one of my plans is I bought this book called Crochet Animal Rugs, and I want to make an animal rug. I have got some t-shirt yarn. I think most of the patterns call for holding 3 strands together, sometimes 4, but there's other designs in here besides rugs. They have baskets, they have pillow covers, there's blankets, but anyway, such cute designs. I saw this book at my local bookstore, and it was actually in the magazine section, but it is definitely a book, and I am so excited about some of these designs. So I'm just going to show you a few. I'm not sure exactly what design I want to do first, but they have the rock and roll panda that I thought was really cute. They have, oh, this one's cute. It is a cat with a heart. Try not to show you that pattern, but it is a cat with a heart. So cute. And it's a rug. They have, oh, here's another one. A full cat with a heart. You can see its little feet. So cute. Cute little designs in there. As I said, well, you can see up here that they've got a pillow. This is a stool cover. So they've got a lot of cute designs in this book. So I'm really excited about making some rugs. Putting some away for maybe grandkids, but also for gifts as well. I think it will be really cute, really excited about this book. So that is plans. Like I said, I don't know that with Christmas coming and Battle of the Stitches and trying to finish my blanket and all that, I don't know that I will get started on one in December, but definitely want to start on one at the new year, in the new year. The other acquisition, that's the word I'm looking for. My husband bought a gift. He bought the Nativity Crochet Kit. And we have friends in South Africa. Their daughter made a nativity scene out of crochet. So I've been wanting to do that, and he bought me this kit. So I definitely want to get started with that in December. Plan on working on this and using the kit. May not use the hook that was provided in there, but I definitely am going to use the yarn and start on the kit. We'll start with baby Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. See how we go with shepherds, some of the animals. I'm not sure I'll get to the wise men. They weren't there at the nativity anyway. And so I'm gonna, see how far I can get in December and get started on that. Maybe far enough that I can set a few out on display, but can pack them away and have the whole thing ready for next year. So really kind of wonderful that he thought about me when he saw it and bought it for me. So, and that was also bought at our local bookstore. I bought an advent calendar. I ordered it at the beginning, towards the beginning of the year, and it arrived, and I want to show that to you. All right, here it is. Leap of Faith Yarns. Kristie is the owner of and yarn dyer of Leap of Faith Yarns. It is called In God's Garden. So all the yarn is based on plants and flowers from the Bible. Very excited about that. I will open it up and let you see all the packages. So there's the thank you for buying her advent calendar. And there they are, ready to be opened starting December 1st. It is my plan to do Vlogmas, open these up. I have another advent calendar coming, and my husband bought one as well. So I'll be videoing opening all of those up, and very excited about that. The last acquisition I just purchased, I bought a Swift and yarn winder. So I put out a video, I think several podcasts ago, 2-3 podcasts ago, saying, and put out a video of me hand winding as well, yarn, and just saying I need to get a yarn ball winder. I had one in South Africa. It was awful. I spent money on it and it was terrible. And so I've just been putting off buying one because of that. And somebody did write in with a suggestion, and was looking into that. But I opened my email, and Knit Picks, because I had ordered yarn for my purple top for the Bougie Crochet Wearable series from Knit Picks. So I've been getting email from them, and they had a 50% off sale on a Swift and ball winder. So I actually came out paying only about just over $10 more, which included shipping, for both of those compared to that awful ball winder I had before in South Africa. So, which was not bought in South Africa. It was bought when I was visiting the US. But all that to say, I couldn't pass up the deal. And so I should be getting pretty soon, in the next 5 to 7 business days, a Swift and yarn ball winder, and very excited about that. So that's everything yarny, and I appreciate you hanging out with me and seeing everything that I've been working on, hearing about the plans for December and the new year, my purchases, and we are going to now move on to our discovery Bible study together. I may not have mentioned it recently, just concerned about my videos getting too long, but I do want you all to know that I am so grateful for each and every one of you. For those of you that, as I've said before, click on my video, choose to watch my videos, who stay through the whole video, and especially this Discovery Bible Study part. You are greatly appreciated, and I do pray for you all. I may not pray for each of you by name because I don't know everyone that subscribes, or there are people that watch without subscribing, but the Lord knows who you are, and He hears our prayers, and I know He hears mine for each and every one of you. So I've been reading through the book of 1 Samuel, started out a few years ago in Genesis, made it to 1 Samuel, and this week I was reading chapter 6, and there was a strange thing, I think it's kind of strange, stood out to me, but I was really fascinated by the way the Philistines, who had captured, in a sense, the Ark of the Covenant. So the Israelites, this is what they built that represented God's presence with them. And they had taken it to battle without asking the Lord, and the Philistines captured it and took it back to their country. And God just caused all sorts of problems for the Philistines. A statue of one of their gods fell face down in front of the ark, and even they'd set it back up and it fell again, and its head and hands broke off. They sent it to different cities around the country, and people were getting sick. There was a plague of mice and tumors and sickness, and they wanted to get rid of it. And so they asked some of their priests, spiritual people, what they should do. And so they were directed to put it on a cart pulled by 2 milk cows. So mother cows that had just given birth, that were, their babies were still nursing, and they were to tie up the babies or keep the babies in a pen, connect these 2 cows to the cart, and send them on their way. And if the cows go straight down the road without turning back towards their babies, then they knew that it was Israel's God who was punishing them for taking the ark. And sure enough, the cows headed down the road without turning back. But it says in verse 12, so this is 1 Samuel chapter 6, verse 12. It says, the cows went straight up the road to Beth Shemesh. They stayed on that one highway, lowing as they went. They never strayed to the right or to the left. And it was interesting. I looked up the word lowing because it's getting to be Christmas. We know, away in a manger. The cattle are lowing, the baby awakes. But little Lord Jesus, no crying he makes. I'm not sure that's quite true, because lowing is the same thing as mooing. And if you've been around cows, you know they can moo quite loudly. And I looked up why. Why do they moo? And some websites, some farming websites, said that there are several reasons. But one of the reasons, or the main reasons, is because they are communicating their needs. They want something. They want food. They're hungry. They want their babies. Their babies are not with them. So they moo or they low in order to call their babies. Or they're lonely. Maybe they've been separated from the herd. So they're lonely. Or maybe they're in season, it's ready to start having babies. Whatever it is, they are complaining in a sense because they have a need that they want met. And here are these two cows obeying the Lord, but lowing or mooing as they go. And it just struck me that God is the ruler of all creation. He is the king. And these cows were being obedient to him, but they weren't complaining about it because they were having to leave their babies. And it struck me that, we live in a world affected by selfishness or sin. Same thing. We want ourselves to be first, and we live in a world where other people put themselves first. And it causes suffering. It caused suffering even for these cows and their babies. They were separated because of the Philistine and the Israelites' sin of selfishness. Israel wanted to win, so without talking to God, they said, we're just going to take the ark and to the battle. And that's not what God wanted them to do. Their selfishness caused the Philistines to win and capture the ark. And the Philistine sin of capturing the ark and putting it in the temple of one of their gods was horrible. And it affected the cows. Other people's sin affects everybody, affects us. And our sin, our selfishness affects us. And we may have to go through some suffering, like these cows did, being separated from their babies. But we can cry out to God like the cows did. We can voice our complaints. One of my favorite verses this year has been Psalm 138, verse 3, that says, on the day I called to you, Lord, you answered me and you strengthened my soul. God may not take away trials or suffering or situations. We may face consequences due to our own selfishness or the selfishness, the evil of others, but God will hear our cries and he will strengthen us, because not only is he the ruler, the king of all creation, he loves us. He loves his creation, especially humans, and he loves his children, those who walk with him and are obedient and faithful to him, and he hears us and he will strengthen us. That's how he answers so many times. Even if his answer is no or wait, he answers with a yes, I will give you strength to face what you are facing. So I hope this has been an encouragement to you. Again, thank you for joining me, and I hope you all have an amazing day. We will see you next week for hopefully an update on Bougie Crochet Wearables, my oversized sweater, and for our next podcast. Oh, and don't forget to check out my short November series, Thanksgiving Thursdays. Bye-bye, y'all.